Here we are, Wednesday night, and a later call today. We had our EC Riders team dinner. Both Dana and myself were attending, so we couldn't do the call earlier on, and then Dana had to get on his team call with Richard and Miriam Wado. And it's now 10 o'clock at night. Doesn't matter when the call takes place, as long as it takes place. But I know Dana's been chomping at the bit. He wanted to tell me what was going on at the team dinner, and I said, no, let's wait until the call so we can have all the excitement, because I know you had an appointment today with the gentleman from the co-op, so I'm interested to hear all about that. But first of all, let's bring Dana on the call. Regional Consultant Dana Heter, are you there, my friend?
I am here, Richard. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, it's lovely to see you tonight. Did you enjoy your dinner?
Absolutely. That was fabulous chili there at the steakhouse.
Yeah, I had the same thing. It was great. Nice, not too filling. Just hit the spot, just hit the mark right there. But so I was sitting next to you, and I know you wanted to tell me how your day went. And I don't know if you want to jump straight on in with the CFO of the utility company, or you want to start with whatever else you were doing today. But it's over to you, my friend. How was your day today?
Well, let me tell you, I had 5 candidates that I attempted to reach. A couple I left voice messages with that were people I knew, and 3 I actually spoke with. 2 I was able. I made invitations. I got a firm appointment for tomorrow and a soft appointment, meaning that this gentleman is working 14, 16 hours a day, and he said, I got to talk to you on Friday to see what I know right now. I'm not available in the evening after work this week, but let's talk Friday, maybe over the weekend. And I said the weekend would be perfect.
Who was that? Who was that?
That was Victor, and it was Victor. Victor.
Yes.
Oh, what a great guy! I had forgotten what a great guy he is. One, he's got this voice. What's that African American actor that played Darth Vader? Darth Vader's voice.
Oh,
anyway,
Thingy L. Jones, wasn't it?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, he's got that kind of voice, you know.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I can't wait till he's executive and doing 3 ways. But anyway, he's a gentleman that I have met before because his vending machines were in our building, and these are always really nice, high-profile vending machines. Victor is a very well put together gentleman, great shape, extremely organized, and so forth, and keeps the vending machines perfect. So I could just tell that by how he ran his business that reflected a lot on who he is, his character. So I wanted to reach out to him, and I did today, and I called him intentionally outside my target time frame, which I called him a little after noon when I anticipated he'd either be on a lunch break or between visits to his site, and I connected with him, and it just went famously. He was so welcoming to me. So I'd be happy to share with you my script. But Victor, it was just, hello, Victor, this is Dana Heter. We've met. And he interrupted me. He said, oh, yeah, I remember you. Yeah, sure. It's good to hear from you. Thanks. I'm glad you called. I said, well, I'm glad I reached you. You got a quick minute? I know you're always moving. And he said, yeah, I do. And I said, well, perfect. I'm on a deadline myself, and I was. I know your days are always crammed, Victor, so I'll be real to the point. I have a consulting business for 28 years, and I used to office there in the 2929 building, and I work with nonprofit organizations. Absolutely love it. But recently I launched another business that's helping to augment my retirement income substantially, and I would really like for you to have eyes on what I'm doing. It may be a good fit for you, and then again, it may not, and that's perfectly fine. So what are you doing after work, either tomorrow evening or Friday evening? I'd love to meet with you, perhaps 5:30, at some place convenient to you, because I know he's up moving around the city. And he said, well, let me tell you what's going on. He said, probably since we last spoke, I've upped my my installations. I now have 55 locations, and I always stock or install the biggest, biggest machines, blah, blah, blah. So he said, Dana, since this summer, I've been working 14, 16-hour days. I may not get off tonight till 9 or 10 o'clock. I said, I hear that. So he said, call me on Friday. I definitely want to hear what you have to say and what you're talking about, and we'll schedule a time. I'll know better then what time I have available. He said, I've even been working Saturdays and Sundays. And I said, well, Victor, I understand completely, and I am flexible and could meet with you out in the field, like between your deliveries. So I will talk to you on Friday. He said, great. I look forward to talking to you.
Perfect. Invite was perfect. You had you're in a hurry. You had your why, his why. Could be a good fit. May or may not be his thing. Very intentional about the date. Can't fault it. 100%, my friend. Great job. And looking forward to hearing what's going on Friday. He sounds like he could be really good.
Yeah, I was on a mission today to at least get the 2 invites completed. So I was targeting to hit, as many people on my list and that I needed to get the 2 invites in. I called the Deputy Chief of Police, Andrew. I didn't call him Andrew. I called him Chief. And I got him on the line, and I followed my script pretty close to the script. And he was receptive, but when I asked the question, I told him who I was, and he said, when I asked the question if he was available to speak with me, or at this point, respectful question, he said, frankly, I'm in the middle of a few things. Could you call me back this afternoon? And I said, I'd be happy to. What time would be best? 4:30, 5:30? He said, call me after 4:30. So I got through the hello, Chief. This is Dana Heter. Thank you for taking my call. I'm delighted to speak with you. You may know my son, Detective Dana Heter, in narcotics. He also was on patrol in your division, Northeast. And he said, oh, yeah, I remember. I said, well, Chief, is now a good time for us to speak? And he said, not really. I'm in the middle of a few things. And I knew he would be, most likely. So he asked me, like I said, to call back after 4:30, which I did very dutifully while I was en route to show the plan, and did not reach him, which is not uncommon, and left him a voice message. So now it's on to the follow-up tomorrow. Your thoughts or suggestions?
When you left him a voicemail, what message did you leave him?
I left him a voice message saying that I'm sorry to have missed you. I was calling at the time that you suggested, and I told him, who I was, and that I would look forward to hearing back from him. Gave him my phone number, and said goodbye. Okay,
great. That's fine. And then you can follow up again with him tomorrow.
Sure.
We'll go through the 4 calls. Sorry. Hopefully he'll pick up next time. But get to the 4th call, and and hopefully you'll have got through to him, or if not, we take it away and say, called you 4 times. I don't want this to be the last time I'm going to call you. Call me back as and when you get this, and purge him. But that was great. Okay, good deal.
Yeah.
Right,
well, what I didn't drop on him is that I'm having lunch with 2 of his superiors in 2 weeks.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I might drop that on him. One of his superiors is a customer. She's seen the plan, declined, and became a customer.
Okay.
Okay. On to the next. The next was an associate of mine. Her name is Bree. She's a relatively new associate. We just completed a project fairly recently, and she's eager to do more work. And I called her today and got her voicemail and left her a brief message. I just said, Bree, this is Dana. I called because I have a question for you. When you get a moment, please call me back. And I gave her my number. Sure enough, she called me back about 10 minutes later, even was apologizing for not being available, which I thought was interesting. Okay. And I said, no problem. And I said, I'm glad we're having a moment to talk. Frankly, Bree, I'm a little pressed right now. Actually, I have someone in my office. I've stepped out to be able to speak with you. So I kind of honored her by saying I'm taking your call here, even though I had someone with me. And I told her that I know you're busy too, so let me get to the point. And I told her, Bree, I've been at my consulting business for 28 years and in this industry for 42. And she chuckled and said, yeah, that's a long time. And I said, it really is. And I said, but recently, Bree, I launched another business that's helping to augment my retirement income substantially. And I'd really like you to have eyes on what I'm doing. Given your situation with the ebb and flow of projects, you might find it extremely interesting. It may be a good fit for you, and then again, it may not. And that's perfectly okay. Our personal and professional relationship is a top priority. So what are you doing tomorrow evening? I'll call you. We'll go online, and I can show you what I'm doing. Is 5 or 5:30 a good time for you? And she lives in Wichita Falls,
right,
Texas. So she said 5 would be perfect. We set it up, and I said, wonderful. I'll be calling you at 5. Now, Bree is a pastor's wife. She's a writer and a pastor's wife.
Okay, so, interesting.
Yes, and she has 5 children, and 4 of the 5 are from a blended family. And long story. So right. So they have a house full of kiddos, and a husband who pastors normally do. They work hard, and she's trying to supplement the income with her creative freelance work. And there's an ebb and flow up and down with that, as you well know. So that went beautifully. I was excited, and she seemed genuinely enthusiastic to hear about it. I do write the check, so I would expect her to have some level of enthusiasm. So those were the 3 that I actually spoke with today. One firm invitation, one firm appointment, one soft appointment to be determined. And then I had another off the list experience that didn't come about by phone, but came about by email, a former client of mine, and who was just laid off a week ago. This is his first week in the being laid off. So I reached out to him. He sent me his, he called me last week, and then I emailed him back with his comments on his resume. And I said, Mark, I really have something that I want to talk to you about relative to another project that I'm working on. And when can we meet in the next day or two? And what are some convenient times? And he gave me some time frames, and I selected the time that was most convenient for me. And he's coming to actually here to where I am to meet with me tomorrow morning. So that was off the list, but it was something that was another bonus today. So 5 on my attempts, if you will. 3 actually made contact, 2 invitations, 1 firm, and 1 soft appointment.
Very good. Yeah,
and then one showing the plan this afternoon with Lynn, who is the CFO of a cooperative based in south of Fort Worth. So I was very exciting. I was, as you know, I shared with you a little bit of my fear and trepidation. But before I get into that, I want to share something real quick that I mentioned to you, and you gave me the green light to share. And it's in the form of a confession, because I want to be in integrity with you and with all of those folks who are investing time. When we met yesterday, I was meeting with you by phone in my car, and I was sitting outside the DART station in Plano, waiting for a candidate to arrive who was going to possibly go to me with me to the BP meeting up in McKinney. All that said is that I snatched up my scripts and put them in my purge call folder, and guess what? I left my scripts for today on my computer. So when we were going through that yesterday, I was just going purely from memory and not my notes. So it did seem a little bit stilted and a little bit, that doesn't sound quite, complete like they had been. And that's because I was going from memory. So I wanted to share that with you and apologize. It was my mistake. I probably should have admitted it, but I didn't discover it until actually we were in the call, and I started going through my stack of scripts and realized, oh man, I left those other scripts on top of my computer.
Well, that's okay, but it just goes to show how important it is to have the scripts with you. It's as we talked about at the team call tonight, it's just so it works towards that posturing and confidence when you know what you're going to say, and it just adds to that confidence level. So. No problem. I mean, these things happen, we all forget things, but it just, was kind of a reminder as to, how vulnerable one feels when one doesn't have the invites there with them.
Absolutely. So back to the showing the plan with Lynn. I met him at a Starbucks out near where he lives, and in the office there. And got there early on purpose just to get situated, get my bearings, and find a good, as quiet as they can be in a Starbucks spot. And got settled and set up and ready to go and so forth. And he arrived, and I flagged him back to where I was and went up and greeted him. And it was like I'd known him for a long time. And I think that's one of the benefits of thinking this through, as we talked about it the other night and then again tonight. And even now, I realized I was so much more relaxed because I had done this preparation. And you had given me some coaching. Richard Amuedo had given me some coaching. And it just helped me to just be myself.
I think what you texted me to say, you were a little nervous about going to see him, and And that's very normal. That's, a lot of people are nervous, especially when it's someone, who's a CFO of a company like that. And I think the coaching I sent to you was, don't worry. We don't care if he joins or not. We're excited if he does. But if he doesn't, he doesn't. We only need 3. We talk about that all the time. And I think as soon as you remove the emotional attachment to the outcome, you can chill and relax and enjoy it. He will or he won't. Who cares,
Yes.
And
we had a delightful time. I got something to drink, cold coffee, and sat down, and he was appreciative that I bought. And we sat down and we chatted and got better acquainted, and it was just very relaxed, and learned a little bit more about his situation, told him a bit about my situation, and he really was saddened by my why, if you will.
Yeah.
Didn't quite cry, but he was, oh, that is terrible.
Well, he's our age. He just knows how that feels.
Oh yeah, he's 7 months. April, he's retiring himself. So anyway, we talked a little bit about the energy business. I learned a little bit more about what he does and so forth, and I found out. And it's great to ask questions because you find out things that help prepare you for the presentation. And I found out that he's CFO, but he does a lot of the commercial account selling. So he's not your typical bean counter pencil pushing CFO. He's out there selling and bringing in the big, he likes it. He likes it. First thing he asked me, he said, I got a call last night from a fellow who's a friend of mine who's just built a professional building in Fort Worth, and he needs energy. Does Ambit do commercial?
Yeah.
I said, yes, small commercial, large commercial, and it would be perfect. I said, we could get you enrolled. He hadn't even seen the presentation. I said, I can get you enrolled and sign him up as a customer. And so then I said, well, Lynn, let me show you how we work. And then I showed him the plan, did the transition like I spoke about the other night. I already set up a 3-way with Richard, primed him a little bit beforehand, watched the compensation in Texas, and then his first comment to me was, that's not very much money. And I said, I understand what you're saying. I totally understand. He said, Dana, I want you to know I make a lot of money. And I said, I understand. And that's why I'm so glad that I lined up Richard to speak with you. Hold on, let me get him on the line. Because I know Richard's probably in the same pay grade scale as he is, not knowing full well what kind of compensation, but evidently it's pretty good. So got Richard on the line, and we had a 35-minute or so validation call. It was a conversation, good questions, back and forth. He said, well, and we talked about conflict of interest and so forth and so on. And he talked about at the end of the validation, may have to wait till I retire in April. But he was just contemplating. I saw the wheels turning in his head. I think he also saw the dollar signs turning in his head as well. He was thinking about all of the people that he knew, particularly in he's very focused on the commercial side. And they talked.
Yeah, and I bet when Richard was talking to him, because we were talking about, I make a lot of money, but he has to work. He works hours for that money. He's trading time for that money, whereas this is the same money or more without having to trade the hours. So I'm sure that's what Richard addressed.
And that's what Richard said. He said, well, I'm not full-time. I was at first, but I'm not full-time now. He said my, average work week is maybe 30 hours a week. So,
right.
So after we hung up on the call, he and I stayed on and talked for a while longer, and I did the 90-10 proposition for him to him. I'll do 90% of the work. You do 10%. Enroll you. You provide me with referrals to Richard and I, whether it's residential or commercial. And he even talked to me about teaming up with them and going to developers and so forth. And so you do 10, make the referrals, this behind the scenes. Richard and I are out front helping you to build your business, so when you retire, you hit the ground running. And he was
Awesome.
nodding up and down. Went through the magazine.
What's the follow-up?
I gave him a magazine, went through it briefly, pointed out Richard during the call, who Richard was, and so forth as they were talking, and then talked to him about the magazine, explained that, and then made an invite for him to come with me to the luncheon meeting in Fort Worth or the evening meeting at the Botanical Garden. So I told him I would follow up with him on Monday to see if either one of those would work.
Perfect. Great. That's very exciting. He would be a wonderful asset.
Yeah, and it just, you never know. And that was my point I wanted to make tonight, and I make on this call, is these dadgum preconceived notions that we have.
Yeah.
The voices in our head saying, no, 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 when it ought to be yes, 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 yes. And it was just a real big lesson for me.
You just never know. You just never know. All right. Well, again, in the interest of time, do we need to get a couple more invites done? Where are we? We're at Wednesday.
Well, I have invited everyone but one. Okay. I haven't spoke to the chief yet, so I still have an invite to do there, but we talked about that.
But we have the invite, right? Do we have anybody we need to construct an invite for?
I have another associate. Her name is Anna. And Anna is a former client of mine, and so I called her today, did not reach her, left her a message, and it was simply a message like I left for Bree. Anna, this is Dana. Sorry I missed you. I have a question for you. And please call me when you get a moment. Here's my number. But when she calls me back, I'm going to say, hey, Anna, thanks for calling me back. I'm so glad we have a moment to talk. I hope you're really doing well. She's had some health issues. I hope you're doing well. Do you have a quick minute? If yes, great. Perfect. I'm about to start or leave for or get on, whatever it is. I know your day is full too, so I'll be real to the point. I love working with my clients, as you well know. It's been 28 years now. Can you believe it? Recently, though, I launched another business that's helping to augment my retirement income substantially. And I would really like you to have eyes on what I'm doing. Given your situation, being semi-retired, and with the ebb and flow of the freelance projects that you're doing, I know you may find this extremely interesting. It may be a good fit. It may not. But again, I want you to have a look at what I'm doing. And if it's not, that's totally okay. Our personal and professional relationship is most important. What are you doing tomorrow evening? I'd like to meet you after work at a place convenient to where you'll be and to have a look at what I'm doing. Is 5:30 or 6 better for you?
Like it. A place convenient to you is a little tacky. I don't like that.
Okay.
Place nearby. It's a little forced, it's a little unnatural. A place convenient to you sounds like something you'd read it's like a TV commercial you'd read on a written thing. So I'd take that out. A local Starbucks or, somewhere nearby, just something a bit more conversational. Other than that, 100%. Yeah, you get bang on. Just perfect. I mean, I don't even need to correct it. We're only 3 days in, and I'm just listening and going, yep, you got it.
The other, so that's the chief, Andrew, the chief. I haven't spoken with but haven't invited. Anna, I haven't spoken with or invited. And then I got an interesting call back today from the doctor's office. His admin or someone called me back, and she introduced herself, very nice lady, and she said, I'm calling back on behalf of the doctor. He got your message, and he asked me to call you to see what the nature of your call is. And I said, perfect, I understand his wanting to know. Frankly, Shay, I think was her name, Shay, it's personal. It's not medical related. And I'm working on a side project that's helping a lot of people. And I think that the doctor would be very interested in having eyes on what I'm doing. I'm partnering with $1.5 billion company that's based here in Dallas and has some of the most respected people and names in Dallas who are investors, names like Perot and Hunt and Carter and so forth, and Thompson. And I think this is very legitimate. I'm not trying to sell investments or oil or gas, anything like that. This is purely something to help people. So I love the opportunity to speak with Dr. Peskin about it. Please have him call me. And she said, very, very good. I will relay this on to him. Anything I should or shouldn't have done there?
That's an interesting one because that's a bit of a curveball. My initial reaction was, Dana, you shouldn't be saying so much, but at the same time, he did ask what the nature of the call was. I think it could have gone on. There's no one answer. I think you did well, bearing in mind you did give information. I think there was enough information there to make it impressive. You certainly didn't tell him you were trying to sell anything, which was important and very good. The name dropping, I think, was good. So if you are going to mention something without getting dragged into a presentation, I think what you did was great. I think what you said was great, and so that I think you dealt with that well, bearing in mind the way you did it. There's also another way, which was to say a lot less. To say, sure. When you said, well, this is very much a personal matter, not a medical matter, and then a phrase that would be conducive to hopefully being enough to have him call you back. I had a business matter I wanted to talk to him about, something along, something short and sharp. So I think, my natural reaction would have been to be short and sharp, say, yeah, well, okay, no, this isn't a medical matter. This is a personal matter, and I had a business matter I wanted to discuss with the doctor. Have him give me a call on such and such. That would have been my natural reaction. Mm-hmm. But listening to yours, when I first heard you starting, I was thinking, Dana's getting dragged into a presentation. But I don't think you were. I think you were salting the oats enough. You certainly didn't get dragged. You mentioned names. You got involved with $1.5 billion company and mentioned some names. So if you are going to say something, I think you said the right amount. So I would have gone one of two approaches. The short, sharp one that I did, and he'll call or he won't. And I don't care if he does or he doesn't because I only need 3. Or I would have gone, if I'd gone your route, I was impressed with yours and like to think that I would have done the same thing. And he'll call back or he won't. And we don't care because we only need 3.
Correct.
So that's my point on that. Your learning so far has been quite dramatic this week, Dana. So you've been incredibly coachable, and I appreciate you. Thank you for that.
Hey, Richard, this has been my distinct pleasure and honor, and thank you so much. I feel like, and I express that to you as well, and to others. I wish I had been doing this from the get-go. it is what it is. I am where I am, and going forward, I'm going to be doing my Ambit Energy business. Though I've been tweaking it along the way, listening to this. This experience has just made a quantum leap forward for me in so many different, just the strategic aspect of what we're doing here is incredible.
And isn't it interesting? So often you hear the phrase, Ambit's so simple, it's really simple to do right, but just as simple to do wrong. And when you do it right with system and you treat it with the same respect as you treat a job, this is a great business. It's simple to do. You learn as you go along. But even if you're just getting started, if you have this system, you'll be fine. And as you do it more and more, you'll get better and better at the invite. Dana, thank you so much for getting on the call tonight. If you wanted to have more names and get through more than 10 in your week, because we've still got Thursday and Friday to go, by all means, let's do so. Bring some more names with you tomorrow night on the call, and let's do more than 10 if you want to. Let's not. 10's the minimum. So if we want to do more, let's do more.
I was kind of chomping at the bit. I didn't know what the rules exactly prescribed. So if I can go further, I've got more here. I've got 15.
Let's do it. Let's make some more invites tomorrow evening. But I appreciate you getting on the call tonight. Thanks. It was lovely to see you at the team dinner, my friend, and I appreciate you saying those few words that you did. And I will see you tomorrow night. Let's aim at the 5:30, 6-ish again. I know it's Thursday night, so we've got business presentations around town. But have a good day tomorrow, and I will see you then.
Cheerio.
And cheerio to you, my friend. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye now.